Good afternoon and welcome to the AQS Guild Buzz with Bonnie. This program is sponsored by Handy Quilter, and before we finish today, I'm going to tell you how you can go register for a brand new sewing machine that's being donated by the Handy Quilter Company. Today I'm talking to Marie Desiano, who is the president of the Milford Valley Quilters from Pennsylvania. Welcome, Marie.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, I know your guild is very active, so let's just talk about some of the things that you do with veterans.
Okay, we really have two big programs we do with veterans. One is called the uh, National Honor Flight Network, and it's a network through the United States that transports veterans to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials. Now, we happen to be near the Hudson Valley Honor Flight Network, so once a year, our members make lap quilts, patriotic lap quilts for the members. So we make them, like 36 by 36, 40 by 40, and we supply the Honor Flight Network with enough quilts for them to give to the people who are going on that flight. The last time we did it, these are just some examples, we were able to give them 118 lap quilts.
Wow, that's wonderful.
It is. And I tell you, it's sometimes what's so sweet is some of the thank you notes that we've received from some of the veterans. One man in particular wrote that every morning after he gets up, he makes his bed. And then when his bed is all made, he takes his new lap quilt and he lays it on top of his bed so that he'll see it every day. So I thought that was very sweet.
Well, and you know then they're appreciated too, don't you?
Yes. Yes, you really do. And he said he appreciated having it, but he also appreciated that we were recognizing his service. So I thought that was very nice. And then we have another program. And in the other program, there's a large veterans home in Scranton, Pennsylvania. It's called the Gino Murley Veterans Home. And one of our members went to visit them, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago and said, is there something we can do for you? And they said, well, could you make us bed quilts for our veterans? So like I said, this was probably 5 or 6 years ago. So we started making bed quilts for the veterans. Now, sometimes they're patriotic, sometimes they're not. Here's some, one that was made recently. And here's another one that's, I think is cute. It has the tractor on it.
Oh, yes.
So we do that for them. And at this point, we've made over 200 quilts for them, bed quilts for the veterans. So that's an ongoing program. Some programs we do, you do it for 1 year and some are ongoing. That's one of our ongoing programs. So, and we have some other programs we do. We make, so what's interesting about our guild is we're called the Milford Valley Quilters. We're located in Milford, Pennsylvania, but we are very close to the border of New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Literally a stone's throw to the Delaware River there. So we have members from the 3 states. So we do certain things where we try to accommodate people from each state. So sometimes we make, I have a whole bunch of these, we make ouch pillows. And the local hospitals love them. And quilters, we all have scraps. So we make little pillows and donate it to the hospital, depending on which hospital needs them. And they use them for their patients who've had surgery, or if they have a child who, needs a little pillow, we do that. That's one of the programs we have. We also do walker bags. So we make walker bags for local nursing homes. And again, if we can do a nursing home in Pennsylvania, or maybe we'll do one in New Jersey or New York, we try to reach the 3 states, since we have members from the 3 states. So we also do kennel quilts, and those are for the local animal shelters. And they could be 12 by 18, 18 by 24, any size, they're happy to get them. And they're small enough and thin enough that they can be washed. So the rescue shelters put them in the bottom of the cages, and then when need be, they can just wash them. So So that's some of the programs we do. And then we have one program we do. I don't have a lot of pictures. I have some pictures. Each year, the third Saturday of March is National Quilt Day. So in honor of National Quilt Day, we have 3 teams of ladies, and a team could be 1 person or 4 people, however they want to do it, and they make a baby quilt. And we pick 3 hospitals, 1 in each state, and we donate the baby quilt to the hospital to be given to the first baby born on National Quilt Day.
That's a new twist. I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, it's cute. Now, sometimes because of privacy laws, we never get to see the baby, but sometimes we do. They'll send us a picture of the baby on the quilt or the mom and the baby. Because of the pandemic, we can't go and interact with them anymore, but we can still make them, and again, that's a program we try to reach out to 3 hospitals in the 3 states, 1 hospital in each state. So.
Well, and I know that your guild has been active for a long time. After 9/11, your guild made a quilt that you sent to AQS, and we auctioned that off. And I got that quilt.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did. I actually have taught for a lot of guilds around the country. And so when I went in there were a number of quilts that were guilds that I had worked with. Yeah. And so I got I think I got 8 quilts all together in that auction. Wow. But I did get the one from Milford Valley. So that's a special one for me. Yeah. Well, do you know, I said that Handy Quilter is the sponsor of this show. We're going to take 30 seconds and we're going to hear a word from Handy Quilter. And when we come back, we're going to talk about what your guild is doing right now during the coronavirus.
Hey, it's Kim Sandberg of Handy Quilters Watch and Learn. We're offering a special deal this week for friends of Bonnie's Guild Buzz in Pennsylvania on electromagnetic channel locks. Please visit your local retailer or handyquilter.com for more details.
Welcome back. And so now, Marie, let's talk a little bit about what your guild is doing since we can't, for the most part, have face-to-face meetings right now. What are you doing with your guild?
Well, we all got a quick lesson in how to use Zoom.
Didn't we all?
So I don't think I'm as good as my grandkids, but I still use it. And so we have a board meeting once a month on Zoom, and it's good. We can discuss issues that have come up. Everything's so different. And then we try and have a second Zoom meeting that's open to the membership and anyone who would like to come, and you can do a show and tell. You can talk about what's going on in your life, your family, whatever. So we try and do that. We did try and have a couple of outdoor meetings, and fortunately we picked dates where the weather cooperated.
Good.
So we went outside. We usually meet in a school, and so the school allowed us to use behind the school. Was a grassy area. We couldn't use the school building. We couldn't use the bathrooms or anything like that, but we could use this grassy area. So we all brought our chairs and wore masks and spread out, and we're able to visit with each other. And of course, if you have quilters, you have show and tell.
That's right. That's the most fun part anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. So the first meeting we had about a dozen people. I think the second meeting we had probably 20-ish or there. So we had a very nice show and tell. We have also had several indoor meetings. Now, some of the township buildings allow us to use their facilities. They have restrictions. You can't have more than 25. And so that's fine. We adhere to whatever their restrictions are. And when we go there, everyone wears a mask. But it's also an opportunity for someone who really doesn't or can't use Zoom, for them to spend a little time with, their quilting friends. So we've had several of those. And then we have actually had like a meeting for people to come and sew. It's the same thing. It's a big room, very few people wearing masks, all spread out. So we have scheduled another Zoom meeting where we're going to have a guest speaker. So we just want to try and educate more of our members in how to use Zoom. Because
And once they do it a time or two, they'll feel more comfortable with it too.
Right, right. That's what I found. But some people are a little hesitant to load it or, sign on to it. So, yeah, we're slowly but surely getting more people used to it, That's all you can do. So,
Well, I know your guild has been making raffle quilts.
yes.
And I see a beautiful one hanging behind you. Tell us about this quilt.
Well, this was to be our raffle quilt for our 2021 show, but I have to tell you, the 2021 show is not happening. But it's a paper pieced quilt. It's called Retro Reboot, and it's based on The Farmer's Wife, that pattern book by Lori Hurd. The blocks were made by our guild members. In fact, we have probably about 50 members who contributed their time and efforts to make these paper piece blocks. Some of them, if you look at the perimeter, are somewhat simpler than the ones in the middle that are very intricate. So we held paper piecing workshops so that everyone who wanted to could learn how to do paper piecing. And the simpler blocks were given to the people who are more newer at paper piecing, and the more intricate ones were given to people who had a little more experience. But it was really nice that so many people contributed to make this quilt.
Well, and if you were making the whole quilt by yourself, you would see it as a mammoth job, wouldn't you? But by
Yes.
divvying it up and giving the patterns to 50 people, that
Right.
makes it manageable, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah. The woman who was in charge of it, I think she made over 200 kits to be dispersed at the meeting. So, and if somebody couldn't come to a meeting, we were happy to mail them the pattern and the kit, So, because we do have a fairly large number of snowbirds, because we're up here in the northeast corner of Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Little nippy here in the winter. So,
It is.
but
Well,
anyway,
it's
yeah. So it's
so
already
now
won several ribbons.
when will you sell your tickets and have a drawing for this particular quilt?
Well, that's actually a very good question. So, initially we thought we would put it off a year, but to be perfectly honest, we're not that confident that in 2022 this is going to be able to happen, because one of the things that we realize is it's not just when we're ready to do the show, it's when people are ready to go out and come to something like this. So we have definitely put it off for a year, but we may have to put it off for 2 years. But
And that's exactly the same reason that AQS has canceled all of our shows for 2021, because it takes months to be able to plan and prepare for a quilt show.
Right.
And so we've already had to cancel for 2021.
Right. Yeah, it's the same thing with us. If we were going to have a show in June of 2021, we actually start our meetings in June of 2020. So
Yes.
that couldn't happen. But anyway, so this is when we have our next show. This will be our raffle quilt. It's king size, actually.
Wow, it's really big.
Yeah, it's 93 by 103. And like I said, it's already won several ribbons. So it really is exquisite if you were able to get up close and see it.
Well, it makes a beautiful background behind you there for the
I know.
for the
They're gonna
show
want me
today.
Bonnie, I don't know.
Well, let me tell you about the quilt that's hanging behind me. This is a
Okay.
quilt called Square in a Square, and it was pieced by Linda Baxter Lasco and quilted by Sue Nichols, and it was done for a book. So we appreciate being able to hang it, and that Linda and Sue Nichols both contributed to this quilt, and it's a real pretty little red and white quilt.
Hmm. I think I have some of Sue Nichols' books.
Do you? Yes,
Yeah.
I do too. I think we all do. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about what your guild's been doing?
I think I told you about most of our charity works. We do have one of our members is actually the coordinator for Project Linus. for Pike County, which is where we are, and Orange County, which is right across the river in New York. So in our guild, if there's nothing else you want to work on, you can always do a project for Project Linus. What else do we have? Oh, and then the other thing we do, of course, we can't do it this year, but we do something at Christmas called the Pantry. And it's a program where we used to ask members to bring in donations of food for the local food pantries. And again, we try and donate some to the 3 states. But what we found was people would bring in the canned goods. They would be so heavy that when we had to actually transport them to the pantries, it became a little too much.
Right.
So now we sell little miniature Hershey chocolate bars, and you buy a little bar for $1. And they start selling them in September. And over the course of the months leading up to December, we raise enough money to give a couple $100 away to these different food pantries.
That's a good way to do it. That's a good way to do it, and you don't have to lug canned goods.
Right, and you have a sweet treat at the meeting.
That's right, that's right. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
So before we go today, I want to tell you how you all can go register for a free sewing machine. I know that many of you know that Handy Quilter makes long arm machines, but I'm not sure everybody knows they also make home sewing machines, and they're giving away an HQ 710, and it has 170 stitches. It has a 9mm foot on it, so you can do wide decorative stitches, and it also has a knee lift on it, and it's valued at $3,495. So it's a great machine, and someone's going to win it, so I'll encourage all of the Milford Valley Quilters to go register, and also all of you who are out there watching. And to register, you go to quiltweek.com/guildbuzz and scroll down, and you'll see a register button. And while you're there, I hope that you also will respond to the short survey that we have. We're doing a survey right now about online classes. We always like to hear from you and tell us what you think. And so we're asking questions about, are you taking online classes? If so, how long are they? Very simple. It's 7 questions. And so give us some feedback. We appreciate that from everybody. So today, Marie, thank you so much for bringing the Milford Valley Quilters Guild to us. And for you at home, we'll see you next Wednesday for the next program with the AQS Guild Buzz with Bonnie. We'll see you then.
Thank you.